Online seminar of Assamese mathematicians. So today we have with us Dr. Deepak Sharma, so Assistant Professor of Assam Agricultural University. So he'll be speaking on distance Pareto eigenvalue of a graph. So over to you, Deepak.
Okay. Thank you, Parama. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Parama and Manjil, for taking initiative of such a webinar series for Assamese mathematician and giving me the opportunity to speak here. And today I'll be talk about one of my research article that has been recently accepted for publication. So I think I should share my screen now. Is it audible? Sorry. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. I think my slides are visible.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. So you can see the title is distance Pareto eigenvalue of a graph. So most of you already know what is a graph and what is an eigenvalue of a matrix. So here we talk about Pareto eigenvalue. This term may be quite new to most of you. So it is a slightly modified eigenvalue and distance matrix we will consider, and we are going to define it formally. So here the outline, and we'll mainly talk about the third and fourth section, that is second largest distance Pareto eigenvalue and smallest sixth one. So we are considering second largest, not the largest one, because largest one is a particular case and which has been already studied by many researchers. Okay. So in the introduction, we give the basic definitions. And first, we must define graph as the preparation graph. So by graph, we mean a finite set phi together with a relation defined on the set phi. Suppose phi is any set and E is any relation on V. So it is a graph, but graphically, if I represent, so V, if I consider the elements of the set V as some points, and as the elements of the set E are some ordered pairs. Suppose if I consider these two pair, then if I join them, and suppose there are some other elements, so it forms a graph. And basically, it's a set with a relation on that particular set. So here we consider only simple graph. Simple means in case of the relation, we can have the same element in relation with that one. That is, in that case, we will have something like this, that is loop. So we avoid loop, and therefore we call such graphs as simple graph. And connected means there we can have something of this type, that is, these two vertices are far away from the other vertices, that is not connected. So we consider only connected graph because we are going to consider distance matrix. So distance matrix, what we do, we consider distances from one vertex, suppose any one, here to this one. So we consider the smallest part. We can travel from this to that one. So here it is 2. And we consider all the distances. And distance matrix is a square matrix of order equal to that of the order of the vertex. And the adjacency will be the length of the shortest path from vertex I to vertex Z. And as distance is here always in integer, so all the entries will be real because integer, and it is symmetric because the distance from vertex I to vertex J is always same as distance from vertex J to vertex I. So if I consider the ordinary eigenvalues, then they are all real. So here we come to the definition of Pareto eigenvalue. In case of ordinary eigenvalue, what we have, this relation you can see that Ax is equal to lambda x. Or we can say Ax minus lambda x is entirely 0. Okay, here we consider something else, that is Ax minus lambda x is non-negative. That is, if I consider the factor Ax minus lambda, then all the entries are non-negative. And here the vector must be non-negative. That is, in case of ordinary eigenvalue, the eigenvector can have negative entries, but here we don't allow negative entries to the eigenvector. So all the entries of the factor must be non-negative, as well as this particular factor Ax minus lambda x, here it is non-negative. We consider this one is non-negative. Okay, and consider the second condition. Here you can see lambda is this one, Ax sorry, x transpose AX by x transpose A. This one is also true even in case of ordinary eigenvalue, because in case of ordinary eigenvalue, we have AX equal to lambda x. So if I multiply both side by x transpose, we get x transpose x. So again, I get lambda is equal to x transpose A by x transpose A. So, but here the concept comes from this one, that is AX minus lambda x is non-negative. But we consider the vector x such that AX minus lambda x is non-negative. At the same time, it is orthogonal to the vector x. So it must be orthogonal. So if I take this condition, then I get this one, that is lambda is equal to x transpose AX by x transpose x. So here you can think that all the ordinary eigenvalues are not Pareto eigenvalues of a matrix. But if we have a eigenvalue for which the corresponding eigenvector have all non-negative entries, then that will be a Pareto eigenvalue. Okay, and how many eigenvalues can I have for a particular matrix? So that is not yet fixed. No one has come out with a positive response. So it is some matrix can have only one eigenvalue, some can have infinitely many also. Not infinitely many exactly, but countably many. So it is a open problem still now. So how many eigenvalues does a matrix have of a particular order? Okay. Next, if I consider distance Pareto eigenvalue, it means if I consider the distance matrix of a graph, of course connected graph, and if you consider the Pareto eigenvalues of that matrix, then it is called the distance Pareto eigenvalue. So here is a result. Although it seems that it's odd to define Pareto eigenvalue, how will they come? So here is an interesting result. If you consider all the principal submatrix of the distance matrix, this one is not for a general matrix A.
Sorry,
only in case of
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you go to your previous slide?
Yes, sure.
So you define you define lambda to be min over
Real number.
So you take x transpose AX divided by x transpose x, and then take min over all these values for all x. Is that a possible lambda?
Sorry, I didn't get you. You're talking about minimum of something, x transpose AX by x transpose A.
So consider this quantity. So you have lambda equal to something, right? Consider
So
the
what I want,
and take min over all x.
So actually, x is a non-negative vector first of all,
Yes.
and so that x is orthogonal to AX minus lambda x. That is the concept. And here this must hold AX minus entry-wise. This vector must be non-negative AX minus lambda x, and x must be orthogonal to that vector. So here we only think about this one AX minus lambda x. That must be non-negative as well as orthogonal to x. That's it.
Okay.
We are not taking suprema, minimum, or integrals. So this one is the condition.
Okay. But is there an equation you can solve to obtain all possible lambdas?
No, not yet. No, for a particular matrix we can solve.
Okay.
For in general, if I give a matrix, so if you give me a matrix, then I cannot say how many eigenvalues it will have. Order 5. Suppose if you ask me how many Pareto eigenvalues will have for a matrix of order 5 by 5. So there is no answer yet. So for some particular cases, you can, if I have a particular matrix, then I can find all the Pareto eigenvalues. So there are some criteria that you can find. So for the distance matrix, at least it can be easily found, because that is what I am going to discuss now. Okay. Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So for distance matrix, you can see, if you consider all the principal submatrices of the distance matrix, and then consider their largest eigenvalue. So here rho A means the largest eigenvalue, we call it spectral radius. Then the collection, this is largest eigenvalues of all the principal matrix. That collection gives the Pareto eigenvalues of the distance matrix. Not in case of any matrix, but here we get this one. There may be some larger class for which this one holds, but at least for distance matrix, this one holds. So if we consider all the principal submatrices, especially we can take the distance matrix itself. So its largest eigenvalue is a Pareto eigenvalue, or we call it the spectral radius or ordinary distance eigenvalue of the matrix. So for that we get the immediate corollary, that is, if I consider the largest eigenvalue for the distance matrix, it is same as the largest distance parameter eigenvalue. So that's why in my talk, I'm not going to discuss about the largest distance parameter eigenvalue because it is same as the largest distance eigenvalue, which has been already discussed by many authors also. So it is. So here is a collection of some basic results. Basic means so we can think what type of
Deepak, can you show me the previous slide, like
yeah.
the definition again?
So,
Okay, let me take this. Okay, thank you.
so by pi g, I mean the collection of all distance parameter eigenvalues. Is it clear?
Okay, okay.
So here is a result, that is if I have a graph of diameter d, any diameter, so if I consider the graph, suppose complete graph, then its diameter is 1. If I consider the part graph, its diameter is n minus 1. So if diameter is d, then these integers, that is first 0, 1, 2 up to d, that is d plus 1 integers are all eigenvalues. These are not the only eigenvalues, but these are always the eigenvalue for a graph of diameter d. So if I have a graph of diameter 3, I can say that is 0, 1, 2, 3 are always the eigenvalues. I don't know.
Deepak is freeze, I guess. Hello. Hello, Mandila, am I audible?
Always the eigenvalue.
Yes, yes.
So in case of the complete graph, some more eigenvalues. 0 and 1 are not only eigenvalues of the distance matrix of the graph of order n. But in any other graph, we'll discuss this one. Hello?
Deepak, can you repeat? I guess you are freeze for some time, like 30 seconds.
Okay, sorry. So for a graph of diameter d, so if I consider any graph, suppose the star graph diameter is 2, for complete graph diameter 1. So if the graph has a diameter d, then 0, 1 up to d, these d plus 1 integers are always distance parameter eigenvalue. These are not the only eigenvalues. There may be some more, but these are always the parameter eigenvalues. Okay. So in case of complete graph, its diameter is 1, but you can see there are some more eigenvalues. You can see here up to n minus 1. That is n eigenvalues, and not 0 and 1 only. And here it is the only graph, that is the complete graph, that is of order n. In it has exactly n parameter eigenvalues, distance parameter eigenvalue. But if you consider any other graph, we will see it will have more than n distance parameter eigenvalues. So this is the only graph. So there will be some in between. The integers may be greater than n also, or n minus 1. So if I consider another graph, here it is Sn. Sn is the graph known as star graph. That is, there will be a dominating vertex which is connected to all other vertices, and others will have degree 1, that is degree. So in that case, the eigenvalues are here mu by mu k, I mean the smallest eigenvalue. That is k smallest eigenvalue by rho k, I will denote the largest one from upper side, and mu twice k. Here first collection gives the at even positions because it is 2 n minus 1 distance parameter eigenvalues. Here graph is of order n. How many eigenvalues? It is 2 times of n minus 1 eigenvalues. So slightly less than 2 times. Okay. So these are the eigenvalues.
So I have a question. Can you please go to the previous slide?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yes. So just to get like an intuition for this thing, is the argument easy for the theorem? First theorem, is the argument easy for integer 0?
Yeah, it's not that difficult. Yeah.
So
you can give.
So what happens? I mean, if you have 0, then you need to show that any vector x is orthogonal to the distance matrix multiplied.
Not any vector. There will be a non-negative vector which is of that type.
Okay. There will be a vector such that. Okay. And
there will be a corresponding eigenvalue also. There will be a corresponding number, real number that satisfies that criteria.
Right. But let's say that number in this case we are taking to be 0.
No, actually, these results not directly come from the definition. Here, in the previous slide, we have a result that is this collection. If we consider all the principal submatrices of a graph, of the matrix, then if we consider their eigenvalue, are especially the largest eigenvalue of all the principal submatrices. So if I consider the distance matrix, so the 1 by 1 matrix principal submatrix is 0, the single element 0, because
Right.
in case of the distance matrix, in the diagonal element will have 0.
Right.
So if I consider one of them, so it becomes one of the eigenvalue for that particular matrix submatrix. So that is therefore 0 is a Pareto eigenvalue.
Okay.
We can
Okay.
directly use
So
this
this is all
particular
the
theorem.
collection.
Yeah. So this gives all for distance matrix. This gives the collection. If you consider all the principal submatrices and their eigenvalues, the largest eigenvalues.
Right. So there can be at most n choose 2 of them.
No, not you cannot say. In case of distance matrix, as I said, there is at least n eigenvalues, distance Pareto eigenvalues,
No,
and
because there are n choose 2 principal submatrices, right?
no. But if you consider n minus 1 submatrix, there are n number of n by 1 order principal submatrices, isn't it? So if I
Okay. Yes.
have
Order 1.
vertical,
Yes.
yeah. So order 1 n. So here all of them are getting 0. But order 2 there will be a number of so order n minus 1 itself n principal submatrices are there.
Right. But you get only one eigenvalue, one
Yeah,
eigenvalue.
from out of these n principal
I'm just giving
submatrices
an
of
upper
order
bound.
1,
A weak
yeah,
upper bound.
there will be an upper one, yeah.
Okay.
For this one, because for the distance matrix we are getting the result from this particular theorem, but in general matrix there is no such theorem yet, as
Right.
far as I know.
But
So,
is it? I mean, so is it difficult to go from the definition to the case of
not
eigenvalues
that
below?
difficult, because from the definition itself this theorem has come, but this proof is a bit lengthy, so I have to process that one to find the
Okay.
eigenvalue using the definition.
Okay. So yeah, maybe we can talk about this later.
Yes, sir.
So, Deepak, this Pareto eigenvalues, no? So they can be discussed for other matrices that
Yes,
are
of
related to
course.
graphs,
Of
like
course.
adjacency matrices,
No, actually, for
Laplacian matrices.
adjacency matrix, someone else has already find different results. So there are already results in literature. So I choose the distance matrix to talk about, to discuss.
So is it been done for this Laplacian matrix and
No,
scientist
not yet.
Laplacian
Not yet.
matrices?
So already for adjacency matrix has been discussed, but as far as I know, only distance I have started. The other matrix has not been touched for Pareto eigenvalue.
Okay, thank you.
Can I go ahead?
Yes.
So I think I was in this slide. So from that result, because the Pareto eigenvalues can be found from the principal submatrices, there is an upper bound. You can see. So it is if you count how many principal submatrices we will have, so you can count the upper bound. But what about the lower bound? How many minimum? How many Pareto eigenvalues we will have? So in case of graph, this one is a result. So if the graph is of order, diameter d, then we will have n plus d minus 1 Pareto eigenvalues, distance Pareto eigenvalues. And if you put d equal 1, it gives the complete graph. So you can see for complete graph, it is exactly n minus 1, because equality holds for P3 and Kn, this is part 3. And as I said, for complete graph, it has exactly n number of distance Pareto eigenvalues. But for others, it is more than that, because here if you see P3 has 3 vertices, but if you put the diameter is 2 for P3, because, okay, so it will have 4 eigenvalues. Okay, so if you say for Kn, or the complete graph is the only graph that has exactly n eigenvalues, that is Pareto eigenvalues. Otherwise, it will have always more than n distance Pareto eigenvalues. Okay. Then another lower bound, you can see, and this one is for all the eigenvalues, Pareto eigenvalues, and in decreasing order. So if I consider rho k to be the kth largest distance Pareto eigenvalue, then you can see for the largest one, that is rho 1, there is at least n minus 1, and the equality holds for complete graph. And if I consider the second largest one, that is again minimum n minus 2. Okay, that again holds for Kn. So if I consider all of them, it is minimum for Kn, but for other graphs, I can have some larger value. Okay. Sorry. So now I come to second largest one, because as I said, first one is nothing but the ordinary eigenvalue, that is largest distance eigenvalue. So we talk about the second one. So as I gave the theorem. From that, I said that Pareto eigenvalues can be found from all the principal submatrices. So largest one is obviously from the main matrix itself. So if I consider the second largest one, so I can consider all the principal submatrices of our order n minus 1. So here this one, P the collection gives, so all the principal submatrices of order n minus 1. So among them, if I consider the largest eigenvalues, and there will be n largest eigenvalues, among them, whichever is larger, that will be the second largest distant Pareto eigenvalue. Okay, so n minus 1 order sub matrices will be considered. There will be n such matrices. For all of them, largest eigenvalue will be considered, and among them, the largest one will be second largest distance Pareto eigenvalue. So what are its bounds? So if I consider a graph having a dominated vertex, that is, there is a vertex which is connected to its other vertex. Then the lower bound and upper bound, you can see lower bound is n minus 2 for the second largest one, and upper bound is 2 times of n minus 2. And again, the lower bound, you can see it holds for the complete graph, and upper bound here holds for the star graph. Okay.
Deepak, so can you go to the previous slide?
Yeah.
So what is DG of V?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
So what is DG of V?
Okay, DG, the distance matrix of the graph G. DG means, and V here, I mean, if I remove the row and column for corresponding to the vertex V. So if I have a vertex that will correspond to a row and column, that row and column and principal submatrix that is DGV. From the distance matrix of the graph G, I am deleting the row and column corresponding to the vertex V, that is DGV.
Okay.
Okay, in short, I am considering the collection. By P, I mean the collection of all principal submatrices of order n minus 1. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So here I consider a graph of diameter 2. So in case of complete graph, we see the diameter is always 1. So we choose a graph of diameter 2. Then if we consider the upper bound, it is 2 times of n minus 2. And again, this upper bound holds for the star graph. And if we consider a class where we limit the clique number, here clique number means the size of largest complete subgraph. So if the graph is complete graph, then its clique number is n because it still is a complete graph. If it is not, then you will have a proper subgraph which is complete. At least P2 is there, part is there. So whatever be the largest complete subgraph, its order is omega g, or we call it clique number. If you restrict the clique number to be n minus 1, that is, if it is at least n minus 1, that is, you can have n also, or you can have star graph also. In that case, not star graph, a different graph. So in that case, what is the bound? Upper bound and lower bound. Again, if you consider the lower bound, it is for complete graph because the collection consists of, again, complete graph, because n minus 1, I can have clique number n also, that is complete graph. And if I consider the upper bound, it is for the graph, you can see k n minus 1 power n. This is the graph if I have a complete graph, suppose this one, and if I have a vertex, suppose this one adjacent to this, that is a graph of order n minus 1, which is complete. And the n vertex is adjacent to exactly one vertex of that complete graph. Okay, for that one, I have the upper bound. Okay.
So are you going to show the proof of this result later?
No.
Okay, so I have a question. So from where does this 23 come? It's very strange that this is a prime number. So
no, actually, what we do, we are considering the second largest eigenvalue. Therefore, we consider all the principal submatrices of order n minus 1. That's it. So we consider all the graphs that have, we omit some of them by some transformation. That this will be not in our class because it is not there. So we'll consider, we will have, I think in this case, 8 or 9 possibilities are there, 8 or 9 matrices in terms of n. And among them, we have to find the eigenvalues. And among the 8 largest eigenvalues, whichever is maximum, I have to consider that one. So as we are considering a matrix of order n minus n in general n, so if I consider its eigenvalue can be anything, any real number. It can be fraction, it can be anything. So if I calculate that, then there will be some characteristic equation. For larger one, you have to solve it, and for that, it 23 or whatever number may come.
Okay, okay. No, but yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. So usually it should have like some prime factors, right? But anyway, okay, fine.
No, 23 is also a prime, but you are talking about 10 or 23.
No, no, I'm talking about 23. Yeah. Anyway, it's okay.
Okay. So, as we have seen that for complete graph, it is easy. For complete graph, I can see lower bound is always there. And so if I think about, if I remove the complete graph, then what will be the minimum value or what is the maximum value for the graph? Of course, we are talking about the second largest eigenvalue. So if I remove the complete graph from our list of connected graph, then this one is the graph, that is kn minus e. That is, if I remove one vertex, if I have a complete graph and remove suppose one of the vertex, one of the edges, then the resulting graph will give the minimum value of the distance per eigenvalue, the second largest one. Okay. So as a particular case, if I see again non-complete graph, this one holds this result, and the lower one holds for the part graph P3, 3 vertices. Okay, P3 you can see from 4 vertices I can get it. Here is another one, another lower bound, but here we consider W and transmission, and W and transmission. Transmission of a vertex means sum of the all distances from that particular vertex V. Or in other words, from the distance matrix, the sum of all the entries of that particular row, that is the transmission. And W is the winner index. Winner index means sum of all the entries of the distance matrix. Or in terms of graph, sum the all possible distances in the graph. That is the W. Okay, so in terms of these two parameters, I have a lower bound, and here the lower bound is attained in a graph if you can see X I have considered the normalized distance Pareto eigenvalue only if the Pareto eigenvalues have this property, that is all the components of order root over n minus 1 except for that particular vertex for which that occurs, that minimum occurs. So if I go on removing that one by one, so the eigenvector will be of that type. That is, one of them will be actually 0, the others will be all root over n minus 1.
So Deepak, what is minimum transmission?
Minimum transmission means from a vertex all possible distances. For a vertex, transmission means sum of all the distances from that particular vertex, and among them, which vertex have the minimum one, that is the minimum transmission. Or in terms of matrix, if I consider the row sum of the matrices, the minimum row sum or minimum column sum. Yeah.
So the minimum transmission will always be 1, right? Then, if it is the minimum distance.
No, because we are considering the row sum. Because in the matrix, whatever be the graph, there will be some entries. The diagonal will be 1, but other entries 1, 2, 3, some entries will be there because we don't know the graph exactly. So whatever be there, so for suppose this one, the row sum is 3. For other row sum will be there. So you cannot say it is 1.
No, just once again, can you define the minimum transmission for a vertex?
Okay. So for the vertex, you can consider we have the distance matrix, whatever be the graph. Okay. So consider this row sum. It is R1. This row sum, it is R2, and similarly Rn. Okay. Among them, the minimum one is minimum transmission. R1 is the transmission of vertex 1. R2 is the transmission of vertex 2, and so on. So among them, whichever is minimum, that is the minimum transmission. Or in case of graph, if I say suppose this one.
So
okay.
In terms of graph, what it would be?
Okay. So if I consider the graph something of this type, for this one, the transmission is 1, for this distance 1, for this distance 2, for this one distance 2. Again for this vertex distance 3. If I add all of them,
right, okay,
1, 2, 3 again. For again, yeah. So minimum always occurs in the center. Generally in the center. So you can see all the distances will be less. For if we consider extreme vertices, distances, we have some larger distances. So transmission usually occurs at the center of the graph.
And what
clear?
is the normalized distance Pareto eigenvalue?
Normalized means if I consider its norm, that is x transpose x, it is 1. It is 1. Sorry, I can hear you. If x is a vector, if I consider this one, it is 1. That is sum of the components, squares of the components, it is 1, then it is normalized distance Pareto eigenvector. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Then we come to the next graph. That is, first I remove the complete graph. Next, I remove that particular graph also. That is, which is obtained by removing one edge from complete graph. Now I remove these two graphs. That is complete graph as well as kn minus e. Then we see for which graph it is the minimum. Then again, it is if I remove another edge, that is already one has been removed. If I remove another one, but there is a condition, these two must not be incident. They should not have any common point, common vertex, only then it will be minimum. If I can remove any edge, but those two should not be incident. In that case, I get the minimum value for the second largest one. Okay. So here I consider the bipartite graph, that is class of all bipartite graph. Bipartite means graph having no cycles of odd length, or you can okay, define other way also. In case of all the bipartite graph, the second largest distance Pareto eigenvalue is minimum. I have already found the value also, and minimum for the balanced graph. Balanced bipartite graph means suppose I have 5 vertices, then here I will have 2, there I will have 3, and all of them will be joined, and this will be again joined, this one. And if there are 6 vertices, then it will be 3, 3. So lower bound is obtained in the balanced graph. Either 2, 3, you can see floor and ceiling function have been defined, used here. So in case of balanced graph, the lower bound is obtained. Okay. Then this one is a comparison from the ordinary eigenvalue and the Pareto eigenvalue for the second largest one. And you can see if I consider the ordinary eigenvalue and denoted by lambda2, and if I consider the second largest one denoted by mu2, then Pareto eigenvalue is always greater than the ordinary eigenvalue. Distance Pareto eigenvalue is always greater. Okay. And here from that particular result, we get something. If I remove one edge from a graph and still the graphs are connected, G and G dash both are connected, then how the second largest Pareto eigenvalue changes. So we know that if I consider the ordinary eigenvalue, it is always increasing. If I remove one edge, it always increases, the largest one. But in case of Pareto eigenvalue, or the second largest Pareto eigenvalue, it is increasing, but sometimes it can be equal also. We have come across several graphs for which the equality holds. Okay, but from this particular result, we can consider a class of graph. That is, if I consider all connected graph, and we try to remove one edges and then another one, so that the graph is still connected, then you can see the second largest Pareto eigenvalue will go on increasing. Sometimes may be equal, but it is increasing. So if I go on removing edges one by one, still graph has to be connected, and then we can see the maximum, the ρ2 will be maximum for some tree graph. If I go on removing, finally I will have a tree. So from that result, I can say that among all connected graph, the second largest distance Pareto eigenvalue will be maximum for some tree. But next the question comes, for which tree? So then I have to consider all the trees, because there are so many trees, and from calculation or from theoretical results, we see that for the path graph, it is always the maximum. Okay, and then again the question of minimality, for which graph it is minimum. So maximum is for simple the path graph, and minimum is again for the star graph. So again, this one is a star graph, the minimum occurs for the star graph. Okay. This one is actually even true for ordinary eigenvalue also, but here proof is completely different because the definition is different. Okay. Okay. So now come to the smallest eigenvalue. We have already talked about the largest, second largest one. So we'll discuss about first 6 possible distance Pareto eigenvalues. We can discuss 7 or so, but it is a bit boring or lengthy. So if I consider any graph with 3 vertices at least, so 0, 1, 2, whatever be the diameter, 0, 1, 2 are always the smallest distance Pareto eigenvalue, whatever be the graph, if it has at least 3 vertices. So 0, 1, 2 are the first 3 members. What about the fourth? It depends on whether the graph is complete or not, because for the complete graph, it is again 3, 0, 1, 3, 2, the next Pareto eigenvalue is 3. So if it is complete, then there is no other option, it must be 3. If it is not complete, then 4 must be 1 plus 2. Fourth one is always 1 plus 3. So first 3 are always 0, 1, 2, 3. Fourth one depends on the graph, whether it is complete or not. Again, if I talk about fifth one, so fifth one is, you can see the graph must have at least 4 vertices, you can see. So fifth one is at least 3. At least 3. So I'll talk about the exact values, what are the possible values, but at least 3. And when 3 occurs, so 3 occurs, so fifth smallest will be exactly 3 when the clique number, as I said, clique number is the size of largest complete subgraph. So if we have a graph, complete subgraph that is of order 4 as a subgraph. So if we have a subgraph which is at least of order 4 and complete, or if I have a graph, subgraph or diameter 3, that is diameter 3, it means a part graph. If I have a part graph of order 4, or if I have subgraph of order 4, this smallest one will be 3. Otherwise, it is more than 3. Okay. So what are the other possibilities? Let's check it. So for that, I have said that if clique is at least 3, then it is already obtained 3. So if I have clique at most 3, because for 4 or more than that, it is 3. So if the clique number is 2 or 3, because for 1 is complete, I'm talking about it. If the clique is 2, clique 2 means it is 3 or so. If we have different possibilities. For the first one, you see that if the C5 means the cycle with 5 vertices, if that is a induced subgraph of the main graph, or S4 plus. S4 plus means I have a graph, this one, the star graph S4. If I add another vertices here, another edge here, so this one is the S4 plus graph, or you can see a triangle with another vertex which is connected to one vertex of the triangle. So that is the S4 graph. If C5, the cycle with 5 vertices, or S4 plus is a induced subgraph of the main graph, then it is equal to root 1 plus root 33 by 2, the fifth smallest one. If not, if suppose C5 and C4 plus are not a induced subgraph, but K4 minus E is, K4 minus E is complete graph with 4 vertices, and if we remove one edges, then K4 minus 1, if that is a induced subgraph, we have 3 plus root 17 by 2 as the fifth smallest eigenvalue. If not, if it is C5, S4 plus, K4 minus 1, none of them are induced subgraph, then it is always 4. The fifth smallest eigenvalue will be always 4. So
for
if I consider
for K4, you remove any edge, and if it is a subgraph, then you say
it will be if you consider.
So there are 2 isomorphic bases, right?
Isomorphic means there will be permutation matrix.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, so suppose I think you asked if I have this one, K4. Okay, yeah. Suppose first I remove this one. I will have a matrix.
Yeah.
Okay, for that I will respond. So if you say if you don't want to remove that particular edge, you want to remove that one, then what will happen? Is that the question?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So these two matrices are although different, but they will be permutationally similar.
Right, right.
So
Yes.
permutationally similar means they will have same eigenvalue. So I can
Right.
remove any one of them. Is it clear?
Okay, yes, yes.
Okay. Good. Then from that one, I can have a corollary, immediate corollary. So if I consider the class of trees, not the all graph, so then you can see the fifth smallest eigenvalue is either 4 or 3. So it depends on whether the graph is star or not. That's it. So if it is star, I can say, so it is 4. So for tree, fifth smallest eigenvalue is either 3 or 4. For other cases, I can have some other possibilities. So now come to sixth smallest one. So what are the possibility of sixth smallest distance per eigenvalue? So here all the cases depends on the fifth one. So I have to depend on the fifth smallest one. So if the fifth smallest distance per eigenvalue is 4, then there are two cases. One is again you can see the complete graph, then it is 5. Other than complete graph, that is K6, whatever we have, whatever be the size, is 2 plus root 7. This means the condition is if 50 smallest one is 4. Then there are two possibilities. If the graph is K6, it is 5. Otherwise, for any graph of any order, it is 2 plus root 7. And again, if I consider the other possibility, that is if mu 5 is that one, you can see for that particular cases, mu 6, that is 6 smallest one is always 4. Okay, so again, there are some more possibilities for mu 5. I have to depend on that. So let us go to
Deepak, can you show
next.
the last slide, previous slide?
Yeah, sure.
The one before. So one more slide before this.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I've already gone through this slide. That is depending on fifth one. If it is 4, 3 plus or 2, I can talk about sixth smallest one. So if I have these cases, that is if mu 5 is 3, then there you can see 4 different possibilities. First one is again that one, that is if C5 or C4 plus, these two are not induced subgraph, then it is 1 plus root 33 by 2, that is mu 6 is. And if these two are not induced subgraph, but K4 minus E is, then again 3 plus root 17 by 2. These were there in previous cases also, because if these two are not mu 5, then only I can talk about this one in mu 6. Okay, then I have another cases if C5, S4 plus K4 minus E are not induced subgroup, but K5, C6, C4, S4, P5. Among the 5, if any one of them is an induced subgraph, then it is always 4. If none of them, all the graphs considered here, if none of them are induced subgraph of the graph, then it is the largest eigenvalue of the distance metric of the part graph of order 4. That I found it difficult to find the exact value. So rather than giving the numerical approximation, I wrote it that way. That is largest eigenvalue of the distance matrix of the graph of order 4. That is part graph. Okay. And again, I have a corollary for tree. If I consider the class of tree, we are talking about mu 6. So I must consider at least 5 vertices. So it is mu 6 is either 2 plus root 7 or it is 4. So if the graph is the star graph, then it is 2 plus root 7. For any other tree, it is 4. For tree, it is a bit simple. I have the last possibility if mu 5, that is fifth smallest one is 1 plus root 33 by 2. Then what are the possibilities? Here you see if it is the C5, that is cycle with 5 vertices, it is again 3 plus root 37 by 2. It is a bit different. Okay. Then if it is C3, at vertex I have that is for 2C3, one vertex is common. If I join, then for this particular graph, it's omega. Omega is the largest root of this particular equation. So again here, I could not find the exact one. So I avoided to give the numerical approximation. So the largest root of this one will be the mu6. And for possibility, if K4 minus is the induced subgraph, then it is 3 plus root 17 by 2. And if none of them 3 are induced subgraph, then it is 4 always. So that's all. So I can talk about, or I can give mu7, mu8, but there are several. Even if I talk about mu7, there are 18 different possibilities. So it's, I think, useless to go on discussing. So I can discuss up to mu6. So that's all actually. Here are the references that I have gone through. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Deepak, for the very nice talk. Poroma is not here, so I am taking over. So if there are questions, please feel free to unmute and ask. So let me start actually. So it seems that there is a recursive structure to the last few theorems that you have shown. So is it true that the proofs are following one after the other? So do you?
Kind of, not exactly, but you can see here 3 plus root 17 by 2 is there. Here also you can see 3 plus root 17 by 2, because there are only 4 possibilities in case of mu5. So if one of them is the mu5, then the next one can be mu6, because there are 4 or 5 possibilities for mu5. If suppose 1, 2, 3, 4 are possibilities. If 2 is the mu5, value of mu5, then I can think whether next one, that is 3, is mu6 or not. If not, then there are some other numbers will be there. So my first attempt is I will see other possibilities of mu5, if there can be mu6 or not. If not, then some other numbers will come. So that is the way.
And what is, why like these graphs are special, that they cannot be an they have to be an induced subgraph? So
actually, this cannot be said. I have just computed all the eigenvalues, and suddenly we see that this one is the graph by programming. These are the graph that gives the minimum or minimum region. So and in proof, I have to say different techniques have been used. Sometimes I have to remove one edge, then I will get different class. That is, this particular class is not there for mu6. So actually, I have tried to find one class, suppose all the complete graph. And then for the maximum one, for second largest one, so I get the tree. So wherever there is an edge, I try to remove that edge. Still the graph has to be connected. Then I see that graphs are removed. Then finally I have a collection of trees. So in these cases also, I have to do some technique of that type. So I have to remove some class of graph. Like that one, I have the tree. Among the trees, I have to verify. So in these cases also, some graphs are removed. Then I will have a small collection of graphs, and for all of them, I have to find the eigenvalues manually, and among them I have to choose.
Okay. So any more questions by the other people? Abhishek, do you have any question?
No, Manchinda.
Okay. No, since you unmuted, so I asked. So if there are no more questions, then let us thank Deepak by unmuting and giving a round of applause for him. Thank you so much, Deepak, for the talk.